God is about to show up in your life in a big way. Not quietly, not subtly, not in a way you can overlook, but in a way that makes it clear He was always there. In a way that restores what you thought was lost. In a way that reminds you that heaven has been watching every step. This message is for the one who has been praying in silence, for the one who has been faithful without recognition, for the one who almost gave up but didn't. God sees you. God knows the weight you've been carrying, and God is about to step in. Why God shows up after long silence. God's silence is never absence. When God is quiet, He is often working behind the scenes, aligning timing, shifting people, closing doors you didn't know were dangerous, and preparing answers that won't fall apart when they arrive. Silence builds trust. Silence deepens faith. Silence removes distractions. If God spoke every moment, you would never learn to listen deeply. Now, the silence is breaking. God shows up when you've reached the end of yourself. Many of you are at the point where you've done everything you know how to do. You prayed, you waited, you tried again, you stayed faithful, and now you're tired. That's often the exact moment God steps in, not because He was late, but because you're finally ready to let Him do what only He can do. God doesn't compete with your strength. He moves when you surrender it. Why the battle intensified. Recently, before God shows up publicly, pressure increases privately. The heaviness you felt, the discouragement you battled, the doubts that suddenly got louder, those were not random. Resistance often rises when breakthrough is near. The enemy fights hardest when he knows something is about to change. God is about to answer old prayers. Some of the prayers you stopped praying, God never stopped hearing. Some of the tears you cried, God counted every one. Some of the hopes you buried, God protected them. God is not just responding to recent faith. He is honoring long obedience. What's coming is connected to prayers you whispered years ago. God's timing is always intentional. If God had moved earlier, you wouldn't have been ready. If He moved later, you would have been discouraged beyond repair. He shows up at the exact moment His presence will produce the most fruit. God is never rushed. God is never delayed. God is always precise. You're about to recognize God's hand clearly. Soon you will say, "That could only have been God." That door opened too perfectly. That healing came too completely. That provision arrived too specifically. When God shows up in a big way, doubt loses its voice. God is about to change the atmosphere. Some of you are about to feel peace you can't explain, joy that doesn't match your circumstances, confidence that comes from knowing God is near. God's presence changes atmospheres. It changes minds. It changes outcomes. Where God shows up, fear leaves. Why God doesn't warn you first. If God told you everything He was about to do, fear would try to sabotage it. So God surprises His children. Sudden favor, unexpected breakthroughs, unplanned restoration. God loves to show up in ways that remind you He is sovereign. God is about to restore your faith, not just your situation, but your trust. You're about to believe again. You're about to dream again. You're about to hope again. God doesn't just fix circumstances. He heals hearts. You're about to see why you had to wait. Clarity is coming. You'll understand why things didn't work before, why certain doors closed, why certain people left. What didn't happen protected you. What delayed you prepared you. God's presence will bring direction. Confusion is lifting. Indecision is breaking. Uncertainty is fading. God's presence brings clarity. When God shows up, paths straighten. Choices simplify. Next steps become clear. Your season is shifting. This is not the same chapter. This is not the same cycle. This is not the same struggle. God is doing something new. What once felt heavy will feel lighter. What once felt impossible will feel manageable. What once felt distant will feel close. You will not miss what God is doing. You don't need to chase this. You don't need to force it. You don't need to manipulate outcomes. God knows where you are. He knows how to reach you. When He moves, you'll know. Stay humble when God shows up. Big moves require humble hearts. Gratitude will protect what God releases. Humility will sustain what God builds. Remember who brought you here. Your testimony is being written. What you survive becomes your story. What God restores becomes your testimony. Someone else's faith will rise because of what God does in your life. This is bigger than you. I declare that God is about to show up in my life. I declare that my faith is being rewarded. I declare that my season is shifting. I declare that what God promised will manifest. God is about to move. God is about to answer. God is about to restore. God is about to reveal Himself. If this message speaks to your spirit, type, "I believe God is moving," in the comments as a declaration of faith. If you know someone who needs encouragement today, share this message with them. Like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so we can continue walking in faith together. And remember this truth: God never brings you this far to leave you where you are.